Test 1 2. Test 1 2. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Preston Sports Podcast. Before we jump into anything sports related, let's just give me a round of applause. Preston, you've uploaded 3 days a week for 2 weeks in a row now? What? That's incredible. Thank you guys. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate the love. Talking about, actually, I think the channel is doing pretty well. Now, granted, I have like 14 subscribers, but it's doing pretty well for 14 subscribers. Let me check. Yeah, most of my videos are doing relatively well. The one from Wednesday is kind of not. But I also haven't really been posting it on Instagram either. I haven't really been promoting the episodes, which is kind of cool to see how good it's doing. I'll have to make sure I post today. Most of the time, if people only follow me on Instagram, they don't see it unless I post about it on Instagram, which is kind of tough, but that's whatever. I haven't said it yet. It is a Friday, which means we're doing Fix 'em Up Fridays, and I already spoiled it on Wednesday. We are doing the New England Patriots. They cut Cam Newton for whatever reason. I don't like that they cut Cam Newton. You know what? Probably after this, I'm going to record another podcast, and I'll probably upload it tomorrow, based off of, or maybe I'll wait a little bit to record it, but I want to do, because I did the quarterback competitions podcast, and I think of all the ones I've predicted of the winners of those QB competitions, I've been wrong in every one of them. I think maybe I said Teddy Bridgewater would start, but I just think Drew Lock should start. I don't know, but like for example, I said Gardner Minshew should start, and I said Cam Newton would start. Cam Newton and Gardner Minshew are not on the teams. There were two people, one was cut, one was traded, that I said should start for the QB competition, and they're not on the same team anymore, which kind of sucks. After I did with my mock draft, whenever the draft was around, I did pretty freaking good on my mock draft, and then that brought me back down to earth. I'm not as smart as I thought I was. But yeah, so sorry. Tangent. Fix 'em Up Friday. They obviously cut Cam Newton. Let me just pull up the Patriots roster real quick so I can break it down. I really like the Patriots team. Now, I don't like the Patriots team I don't like it just because of how much money they spent in the offseason. But I do think it's a big deal that they spent. I don't want the NFL. Whenever you're pulling up a roster or depth chart, never do it at the Patriots website. Always do it. I normally do it through ESPN, just because ESPN kind of has it in a depth chart format, where Garrett Gilbert is on the Patriots. Hey, congrats to the Patriots. They just have the best quarterback. I can't believe it. I'm actually happy for Gary Gilbert. Hopefully the Patriots win a Super Bowl. And I did have a couple people ask me, his name is not Gary Gilbert, it's Garrett Gilbert, but I call him Gary Gilbert because I like to say Gary Gilbert rather than Garrett Gilbert. I don't know why. It started whenever the Cowboys played the Steelers, but that's how it is. So, N'Keal Harry's on IR. That's actually a really big deal. But yeah, so you look at quarterback Mac Jones. I like what I saw out of Mac Jones in the preseason. He looked really good. He looked like he could be not necessarily the next Tom Brady, but the next Tom Brady type, not necessarily athletic, but he gets the passes. He can read defenses very well from what I've seen. Now, granted, preseason means nothing. He's playing against backups. Cam Newton started the preseason, so Mac Jones was playing against 2s and 3s. I would like to see him against a regular NFL defense, and that is to be seen. But don't get it twisted. This offense will be predicated on the run game. They have Damon Harris and James White, all the way down to, Ramondre Stevenson. I think it's Ramondre Stevenson and J.J. Taylor. So they have a pretty good running back room that they're going to be using. And then their wide receivers, I weirdly like their wide receiver room. I like Nelson Aguilar. I like Jacoby Myers. Hopefully N'Keal Harry isn't on IR for the entirety of the season. But even then, I like Kendrick Bourne. Now it only goes 3 deep. Gunnar Olszewski. Gunnar off Schlesky. It's a fancy name. Gunnar is really a return specialist. So Malcolm Perry and Matthew Slater are the other wide receivers, not necessarily the best, but they make up for that in tight end depth. You go Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, and even behind that, Devin Asiasi is a really good tight end. Jakob Johnson is the fullback. You'll probably see him in quite a bit. And I love this offensive line. They obviously traded for Shaq Mason. Michael Onwenu was really good last year. I think he was a 6th-round pick, probably the steal of the draft last year based off of what we saw. They also have Isaiah Wynn, David Andrews, and Shaq Mason. Really good offensive line, which is good. When you have a rookie quarterback like Mac Jones and not one who scrambles a lot, one who's going to be in the pocket, you need 5 good offensive linemen to make sure that pocket can hold to give your rookie quarterback time, because that's what he needs, time. You know, he's not going to be getting the ball out in 2 seconds, 2.3 seconds. He's going to be taking maybe 2.5, 2.7, maybe even up to 3 seconds to be making these reads just because he's a rookie. Now, granted, I think as the season goes on, he will improve in his speed and quickness, but he has to learn the offense first, and that there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to learn an offense once you're in it. So this will be predicated on the run game, and Mac Jones will really be more of a game manager. And I'm not saying that is his cap of talent. I'm just saying the role this season, from what we've seen, he will be more of a game manager. Don't get it twisted though. I think he does have the potential to take over games, and I think we will see that a couple times this season. We'll probably see some rookie bumps, some bad interceptions, but nothing we don't see out of every rookie. Now the defense is where this team gets really interesting. It's very, very old. A bunch of older players. You're looking at like Adrian Phillips, Devin McCourty, Jonathan Jones, Dante Hightower, Kyle Van Noy. You even go down to Lawrence Guy, who's kind of up there in age. Devon Godshaw's a free agency signing. Matt Judon, who's not there, and then we're getting to like middle age. They're middle age, middle of regular NFL age. You're looking at late 20s. And then I really like the depth of this defense though. How deep this defense is, because even behind, so you're starting defensive front. Now, granted, they run a 3-4, so I'm talking about defensive ends and defensive tackles here. So Dietrich Wise Jr., Lawrence Guy, Devon Godshaw, and Henry Anderson. Behind them, you still have Chase Winovich and Christian Barmore from the 2nd round. I really like Christian Barmore. He was the best defensive tackle in this draft class, and they were able to get him in the 2nd round, which is a really good pick. And maybe I'm tripping, and they run a 4-3. Matt Judon is going to be used as an edge rusher. He does have versatility. He's like a 3-4 edge rusher or 3-4 outside linebacker, so he can cover. It's just better to not do that. Kyle Van Noy, mainly a coverage guy, but he's kind of not necessarily a do-it-all player, but he can hold his own. Josh Uche is going into his 2nd year. I really like him. I think he could have a breakout year. I believe they traded for Raekwon McMillan, and he's on IR. I'm seeing a lot of O's and IRs. Brian Cowart, Anfree Jennings, Raekwon McMillan, Cameron McGrone, Jonathan Jones has a Q, Joshua Bledsoe has an O, and Stefan Gilmour is on the PUP list. But it's a good thing they have J.C. Jackson. Now, J.C. Jackson, real ball hawk of a corner, but his real issue is sometimes he gets burnt. That's something that hopefully, under the tutelage of Stefan Gilmour and Bill Belichick and their DB coaches, that didn't get fixed. Hopefully. Your safeties are Adrian Phillips and Devin McCourty. You also have Kyle Duggar, who kind of plays a sub-linebacker type of role. You signed Jalen Mills in the offseason, and you have they traded for Shaun Wade. I really like Shaun Wade. I'm kind of upset that the Patriots traded for him. I mean, I guess it's good because the Ravens don't have Shaun Wade anymore. But obviously, he was a slot corner coming out of Ohio State. Ravens had to get their roster down to 53, so they traded him. I really like Shaun Wade. I think he'll have a really good year for New England. And obviously, Stefan Gilmour can't play for the first 6 weeks of the season. He's entering the year on the PUP list. Excuse me. Special teams, their kicker is Quinn Nordin. Nordin, I don't know. Quinn Nordin. Jake Bailey is their punter. Gunnar Olszewski is their punt and kick returner. So, weak spots. Offensively, really just wide receiver. I mean, obviously, you would like a better number one back, but the Patriots don't really do that much, so you can understand why not. Big expiring contracts. There's a couple. So the big guys are J.C. Jackson, Trent Brown, Raekwon McMillan, and I said Devin McCourty. You might not want to re-sign him because he's old. Bill Belichick tends to get rid of players before their decline. I don't know what we'll see this year, but big man Bill knows what he's doing. So those are really the only guys. There's not that many expiring contracts this year. You may notice I didn't say Stefan Gilmour is a key player to re-sign. I think Stefan Gilmour is a guy you either trade by the midseason mark, or by the trade deadline, or he's someone you tag and then trade, because I don't know how much you can get for him though, because he had injuries all season last season, and then now he's on the PUP list, so it's like injuries are becoming a concern. He's getting up there in age. He's going to want a lot of money if you trade for him. So maybe if you're a team like Dallas and you just really need a corner, you'll trade for him. But I think they should trade him for at least try to get something. So assuming they re-sign those 4 players, you're looking at issues being, a little bit in the safety room, because I believe Adrian Phillips is an expiring contract. You're looking for better depth at corner, some possible starters. You're looking for really a better defensive line. Your inside linebackers, you probably want an upgrade on. Dante Hightower is kind of up there. Raekwon McMillan is good, but you can't only have one good linebacker. Offensively, I believe David Andrews is actually someone who is expiring, so they'll need to re-sign him as well. And you really just need a wide receiver. Now, possible free agents. It just so happens there's a wide receiver who likes cheese, who is probably done with his team after this year. He goes by the name of Devontae Adams. He was the NFL top 100 number 1 wide receiver. He's a 99 going into Madden 22. I believe he was the second best receiver in the league last year. He's absolutely insane. And I think he wants to win a Super Bowl. And I think if you want to win a Super Bowl, we'll see about it this year. But I think New England is a place where you go and you take a pay cut and you see what you could do. I think Devontae Adams would be a great signing for this team. Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, even N'Keal Harry, depending on what happens with his trade situation. They all play roles and they're all good on their own. But if you have that number 1 guy, Devontae Adams, to draw the double teams, to draw the coverages, have a safety roll over to his side, that really will create opportunities for Nelson Aguilar on speed and Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne to get open. So I think, and even someone like Rashad Higgins, who isn't necessarily the biggest, fastest, strongest wide receiver ever, not the best route runner, he just gets open, he knows where he's supposed to be, he can develop chemistry with quarterbacks. I think bringing him in on a 1 or 2 year deal for not a super large amount of money would be a really good idea for this team. I noticed that both Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones are free agents. I figure Rojo is probably going to be the one they go with, and so I figured, hey, why not go after Leonard Fournette? Leonard Fournette kind of, I don't know why, he kind of feels like a Patriots player to me. He kind of had some, he's a kind of a personality, but he just gets whipped in shape by Belichick. I don't know. That's just something for me. This is actually kind of a bad defensive line class as far as free agency goes. So I said Vincent Taylor. Probably wouldn't even start. He's more of a run stuffer guy. That's really all I could find. There's a lot of older people, which I guess you could go after if you wanted. I don't know if that's your move if you're the Patriots, though. Some linebackers, L.J. Fort from the Ravens, John Bostic from football team, I believe, are some really good options. Again, they're not insanely talented, but they'll play a role. And, if you're playing in the Patriots system, you don't really need to be amazingly talented. Defensively, of course. They've done a lot more with a lot less, I should say. Corners, Kyle Fuller, 1-year deal with Denver. Going to be a free agent, probably not going to get re-signed. I would expect that the Patriots would be someone who is interested in him, and hopefully he would be interested in the Patriots as well. And then LaMarcus Joyner is someone else. He's a corner/safety. And then also Jabril Peppers. The Giants will probably re-sign him, honestly. But, I don't know. If he hits free agency, why not get someone like Jabril Peppers who can do a lot of stuff? Giving Bill Belichick someone as versatile as Jabril Peppers is a real dangerous idea. But I kind of want to see what happens. And I'm doing this little blurb thing now, so I'm going to read that. The Patriots are in a very, very interesting situation. They were dominant for 20 years, and since then, they've played one season without Tom Brady, and they had their first losing season since starting Tom Brady. They cut ties with Cam Newton and are full steam ahead on Mac Jones with a great offensive line, a possibly legit quarterback, and a solid running game. The only thing this team is missing is a serious threat at wide receiver. And then this team will have a top offense. While the defense is aging, it is efficient. They tend to do a lot with defensive players who aren't necessarily the most talented or top at their positions. A lot of players will be coming back from injuries and opt-outs, which would definitely help improve off of last year. So the only thing with the Patriots, it is almost impossible to do something like this for. You can do it in Madden, where you take over as the coach and you just sign players and cut players however you want. But Bill Belichick is a very different person than anyone has ever seen. Bill Belichick is all about the Patriot way. If you're not about the Patriot way, then you're not going to make it in New England. So there's people here who could definitely not be about the Patriot way. And, that could cause issues for them. So, that being said, take everything I do with this as a grain of salt, because the Patriots are a special team that are difficult to predict anything that they do. But yeah, that's what I think the Patriots should do. Add depth at defensive line, continue to develop young talent, add pieces at linebacker, re-sign J.C. Jackson, trade away Stefan Gilmour, make sure you have depth. Kyle Duggar is going to be a key piece at safety. Try to bring in as much talent as you can. I don't know what their cap situation will be looking like going into next year, but they have a quarterback on a rookie contract, so they can afford to put some money into the defense. That is it. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will talk to you on Monday about a lot of things. Next week is obviously, we got NFL football coming back Thursday night. Cowboys, Buccaneers going at it. I'm very excited for that game. Very excited for NFL football to be back. My plan is to tell you what my plan is on Monday. Peace out, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, boop the notification bell, and I will talk to you guys on Monday. Peace out.